This is a training session regarding the postings and paychecks portion of the payroll accounting options. This setup screen is accessed by selecting Postings and Paychecks from the Setup Accounting Options Payroll submenu. The Print Posting in Summary checkbox refers to the number of general ledger transactions that will be created when the timesheets are posted. If this box is not checked, one general ledger transaction will be added for each timesheet line item for each employee. If the box is checked, the system will summarize all transactions to a common general ledger account for the same employee into one transaction. This checkbox also refers to general ledger transactions created during payroll posting. If a person is paid, say, $20 an hour, the system will assign $20 for every hour worked to the general ledger account the person worked on. However, it will also send additional amounts to the general ledger account if payroll accruals are being distributed to the general ledger account on which the person worked. In the example of our $20 an hour worker, the system would send some $27.50 to the general ledger account for every hour the person worked. If you wish to see the $7.50 of payroll burden in a separate transaction, put a check mark in this box. The system will send two transactions to the general ledger account, one for $20 and the other for $7.50. If this box is unchecked, one transaction will go to the account for $27.50. The Overtime Hours Spread button allows the program to spread out all the hours that were entered over all the general ledger accounts that were worked. For example, if a person worked on 10 different general ledger accounts and put 7 hours of overtime on the last account they worked on during the week, the 7 hours of overtime would be spread over all the general ledger accounts they worked on during the week. This spread happens during timesheet posting, so it will not show up on a timesheet proof listing. Here we can enter a limit for regular hours. If a number is placed in this field, then the system will only allow that many regular hours to be posted for a given employee during a given week. During the posting process, the system will take any regular hours over this limit and change them to overtime hours. Here you can select the level of detail for creation of GL transactions. After timesheets have been posted and paychecks generated, you will at some point be responsible for paying the withheld taxes and accrued liabilities to federal, state, and local government entities. This is usually accomplished by creating accounts payable invoices that relieve the appropriate accrual accounts and pay the proper authorities. The system can create these accounts payable invoices automatically during timesheet posting. All you have to do is check this box and specify which AP invoice batch and vendor will be used for creating these invoices for federal tax withheld and Social Security, Medicare, and federal unemployment amounts withheld and accrued. The Payroll Check Format button is where we select the desired format for printing out payroll checks. Select the payroll check printing format you prefer by picking from this list. Highlight a description to see a sample check form here. If you would like, you can select Form Maker to create a customized paycheck printing format. The process of designing Form Maker checks is covered in a separate training session. If you do select Form Maker as the check format, you must specify the file name of your desired paycheck printing program here. If a laser check format is selected, the Copies and Collation button will be enabled. Click on this button and the following window comes into view. Here you can specify how many copies of the payroll check you wish to be printed, and you can indicate whether you want those copies to be collated. You can use this button to immediately print a dummy check for printer alignment purposes. If you are using the direct deposit feature to deposit money directly into employee bank accounts, make sure the fields in this screen have been loaded with proper information. When the program is instructed to directly deposit money for an employee, it will print vouchers instead of paychecks for the affected employees. And it will create a text file to be sent to your bank, which holds the amounts and accounts that will be affected. This file is created according to ACH standards, so we frequently refer to it as the ACH file. Here you can specify a folder where this ACH file will be created during paycheck posting. Here you specify which of your cash accounts will be drawn from for direct deposits. Here you establish or change direct deposit settings for individual employees. Those settings are described in detail in the training session on entering employee information. Here you can establish or change settings for individual cash accounts that will be used for direct deposit. These settings are described in detail in the training session on entering general ledger accounts. More options for check printing are located here. You can include or exclude the employee's Social Security number, or even have the program print just the last 4 digits. Here you can include or exclude a summary of the employee's remaining vacation and sick pay hours. Finally, you can choose to print the check number on the face of the pre-printed check. Here you can instruct the program to transfer enough money from one cash account to another in order to cover the net amount required for printing paychecks. The default state for entry of new employees should be the home state of your company. This will ensure that when a new employee is entered into the system, he will always be assigned this state as the employee's state of residence, unless otherwise indicated. Here you can indicate whether you wish for premium time hours to be tracked on timesheet entry screens. On all timesheet entry screens, regular hours and overtime hours may be entered. If this box is checked, the system will also allow for the entry of premium time hours. This setting refers to setting up shift differentials. Click the button and this list box is displayed. We'll click the Insert button and create a shift. This is a swing shift, so we'll give it an appropriate ID and description. Employees working the swing shift will have their regular and overtime rates modified using these settings. We can modify the rate by adding an amount per hour or a percentage, or by replacing the employee pay rate with a different rate. We're going to increase all their pay rates by 15%. Now, when we enter timesheets, we can pick this shift differential and our employee pay rates will all be increased by 15% for the hours we enter. This section refers to changes made to records in the employee file. The program has the ability to store a note detailing what changes are made to employee records. Using this setting, indicate whether you wish the program to create these notes, and whether you want the user to be given the option whether to create the note or not each time they make a change to an employee record. The last setting deals with accruing employee vacation, sick, and pension hours and pay. Some companies want to accrue employee benefits in this manner, but they call it something different. For example, your company may accrue vacation time, but call it paid time off, or PTO. You can change the labels for any of these 3 types of accruals here. The user-defined label will be used in all system screens and reports. We'll save these entries by clicking the OK button. This ends this training session on setting up postings and paychecks.